Hey guys, welcome back. My name's Michelle and I'm here with Beat the Clock. I'm going to talk to you today about probably the most underrated part of our personal development, and that is rest. Let's jump into it. So I'll break this video up into 5 sections. 1, why I did it, then 3 reasons why I think everybody should do it, and then I'll close it out with some final thoughts. So, number 1, I did it for personal religious reasons. I recently gave my life wholeheartedly to Christ. I believe, if I want to track it exactly, it was January the 2019 that I really had an aha moment in my spirituality. And then I got baptized in January of 2020. So this is a very intentional way of worship. And by no means am I trying to make this like a conversion video. That's not what it's for. Honestly, I think that even if I wasn't spiritual after having tried this, I would still want to practice an intentional Sabbath. And I'll tell you why. So for me, number 1, like I said, it is an act of faith. I try to replicate the cycle that God did in the Bible. He created for 6, then he paused and admired his creation for 7. So for me, it's a very conscious form of worship. But regardless of whether or not you adhere to spirituality and or Christianity, it is still an act of faith, because if you take a day to pause, right, you are saying, number 1, the world will not collapse if you pause and just relax. Number 2, it's also having faith that you did enough for the past 6 days. And number 3, it's just having some self-love, having a day for yourself when you're busy serving everybody else. So in contemporary American society, we're seeing that this sermon we've been preached about working super hard until you drop and you achieve your dream may not really be realistic, and that it's actually very manipulative from the powers that be. So it can also be a form of rebellion, right, to what you've been taught, and that it's okay. It's okay to pause. It's okay to relax. And it's okay to practice boundaries, because a lot of us use the weekend to do all these favors for all these people, to catch up on what we missed and we couldn't do during the week. And that's all fine and dandy, but you can squeeze that into one day, right? Because again, I take a Sunday off. You can squeeze everything you would split up into Saturday and Sunday and just put it in one day, and you'd be so surprised by how much better it feels to just have a day of scheduled rest. So number 2, I honor a Sabbath because I want to honor myself and the people around me. So I want to say that although I know a lot of people, I haven't been the best at maintaining those relationships. I would always put off interactions over the weekends because I was still working. I was literally just a slave to my job, and I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to be on my deathbed and feeling like I could have done more to be emotionally present for the people around me. I am very good about loving people through acts of service, but I also want to be there in words of affirmation, and I also just want to make people's day and show them that I care and that I'm thinking about them, because I was so caught up before that I don't know that people really understood the amount of love that was in my heart. So I take Sunday to pause, to kind of have that internal dialogue and not reach out to people out of a place of guilt. Just reach out from a place of compassion and of empathy and of sincerity. So that's something that I think we should all do. I was kind of completing my PhD homework one time recently, and they said, what's one act of leadership that you've seen that's so small but it made a difference? And I really thought it was a big deal. One of my students, and it was a male exchange between 2 guys, that's what I mean. He saw that his friend was down and he asked him, are you okay? Like, do you need to talk? And for me, in my lens, that felt significant. But then even when I posted it for my colleagues or peers to read it, they were like, that is a huge deal. I don't even think I ever see people check up on each other anymore. And nobody asks, unfortunately, how anyone's doing. So for other people to also pick up on that made me feel kind of bad about the state of our world, that we can't even pause to say, hey, how's it going? And like truly be present when we say that phrase. Because sometimes we say that and we're just like rushing, getting a coffee or something. And so I want to be present, and I want to be purposeful and intentional about how I interact with the people around me. So yeah, guys, honoring a Sabbath is something new to me. I have literally never done it in my life. The word Sabbath was never spoken in my household. I also didn't practice it right away, even though I gave my life to Jesus recently. I honestly want to say I've only practiced Sabbath in the past like three months. And so it does take some planning, honestly. and it really changes the way that your week feels. So before, on Sundays, I was like dying and I wouldn't look forward to work because I was like, oh my God, I just did so much today. Like I need another day to squeeze in a day and rest, right? And now, because I pause, and don't get me wrong, sometimes I want to mop, I want to sweep, I want to do an extra load because I see that it's not super clear or empty, and I am very tempted still, or like I just want to get ahead on a paper, but I say no. Like literally all I do is like stuff that benefits me, which is scripture, music, sermons, time with my friends or family, my husband, my dogs, and it really changes the flow of the week. I am honestly no longer tired anymore, and if I'm tired, it's just because I overslept and I had to be up early the next day, and I'm a terrible morning person, but I'm never tired. I can tell you that, and that's because I'm so itching. I'm like waiting to start working again because I paused, and so it like re-energizes your whole spirit because you're so used to that pace, and so having that little moment really propels you forward with even more energy, if that makes any sense. So I think a Sabbath, again, is something that is awesome for everybody. And again, it doesn't have to be coming from a religious place if you're not there. Even in the academic world, they really honor a sabbatical. And I believe I Googled it, it's after like 7 years or something, that if you're a professor, your university can honor and pay you to take a Sabbath and take time off, because there is real power in just taking some time away from the grind, and it like reignites your creative thinking. Like for academics, you have to do heavy research, heavy reading, and all that good stuff. And sometimes sabbaticals are used for that, but because you don't have this pressure of teaching, there is a lot of power and a lot of growth and transformation that comes from Sabbath. So I really highly recommend it. And again, just think about all the trends that we're seeing now. We are realizing how much time we devote to our work. Now with this pandemic, we don't want to commute anymore. We want to stay at home. Work from home life feels way more reasonable, and it can be. Additionally, there's also books like the 4-Hour Work Week, or a lot of people are now advocating for a 4-day week, and that's already popular in some parts of the world. So there's honestly real momentum and real logic in this form of thought. Like, I don't want you to think I'm wearing like a tin hat and going crazy. I mean, it's just something that a lot of people around the world are starting to pick up on, and I just think that you should also be a part of it. And trust me, just doing it 1 week, like, you'll realize what I'm talking about. It all might sound abstract and weird and funky with all the words that I'm using, but when you feel it, it's going to be a totally different thing. So I just highly recommend it. A Sabbath really changes the game. And it also makes you want to be that intentional in small ways in your life too. Like now I have a morning routine because I like the feeling of a Sabbath, and I've never had a morning routine before. And now, because I honor my Sabbath so much, I want to squeeze in cleaning throughout the week. So I'll do loads of laundry every day if I need it, right? Or I'll like tidy up for 10 minutes at the end of the night. And I didn't used to do those things. So because you devote so much time to yourself, it's like your brain automatically rewires and knows how to work in a more productive way. So I'm working smarter, not harder now, and I really enjoy it. So if you can do the same, I really highly recommend it. I would love to hear how it works for you, so comment below. Again, I really didn't plan on turning this into a YouTube channel, but now that I did the first one, I'm starting to find all these other topics that I might want to explore. So if you're with me and you want to let me know how that works, I'd really love to hear from you. And again, all of this is just to live life purposefully. I don't remember who said it, but I was Googling quotes recently, and it said, a life lived well is long enough, right? So if you do it right, you never have to complain about how much time you wasted, about how you wish you had more time. It's just all about, again, knowing what's important to you and knowing what values really are going to guide your life, because a lot of us have values, but we don't let them guide our life. Let your life be rooted in your values, and I promise you, you'll beat the clock.